Hey guys, what is up? My name is Leo and you're watching the Argent Leo's gaming channel. I played Dead Cells the other day and this is what I found. Dead Cells is described as a roguelike Metroidvania video game developed and published by Motion Twin. Following about a year in early access, Dead Cells was released for Linux, Mac operating system, Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on August 7, 2018. Mobile ports for iOS has been released on 28 August 2019 and Android is planned for later 2019. In the game, the player takes the role of a slime-like creature that takes control of a corpse in a dungeon, through which they must fight their way out. The player gains various weapons, treasure and other tools through exploration of the periodically generated levels to fight undead creatures within it. At times, the player may gain cells, a type of in-game currency that can be used to purchase permanent upgrades or unlock new items for the player if they reach the vendor between each level. Dead Cells uses a permadeath system, causing the player to lose all cells and other currencies or items upon each instance of death. Motion Twin was inspired by The Binding of Isaac in developing the game. Gameplay. Dead Cells is described as a roguevania, a combination of periodically generated roguelike games and action exploration based Metroidvania games. The player controls a mass of cells that occupy and control the body of a deceased prisoner at the start of each game. As they explore a series of dungeons and fight the creatures within, they collect weapons, skins, abilities, power-ups and money. Some enemies will also drop cells when defeated, which can be used to obtain permanent power-ups such as additional health potions or new items that can be bought or found in later runs. These cells can only be spent at the end of a dungeon section. If a player dies before then, they lose all collected cells. Each level is periodically generated by merging of pre-designed sections in a random configuration along with random placement of enemies and items. The game's combat is said to be similar to the Soul series, with difficult enemies with certain behaviors the player can learn, and where frequent character death is a fundamental part of the game. At intervals throughout the game, the player must also defeat boss enemies known as keepers. Currently, there are 6 keepers in the game: the Concierge, Conjunctivius, the Timekeeper, the Giant, the Hand of the King, and the Collector. The game includes Twitch integration, allowing players via the stream's chat to influence the game, such as voting for which upgrade paths the player should take. The plot of Dead Cells is minimalistic, only giving bits of information to the player, as the player character is selectively mute, and lore is fed gradually from area descriptions and background details. Taking place on an unnamed island, the player character is a prisoner, a greenish blob of unknown substance, capable of possessing executed bodies in the depth of the island. While the head of the prisoner is immortal, the bodies it possesses are not, and dying will force it to slink back to the prison quarters. The prisoner awakens in the depths of the island prison. A soldier implies that they have been trying to escape for an unspecified period of time. As the prisoner works their way out of the prison quarters, they navigate the island, and it is revealed to the player that the island was once a mighty kingdom, until a plague known as the Malaise swept through, reducing most of its citizens to mindless zombies or monstrous husks. The kingdom's alchemist worked tirelessly to find a cure, but mysteriously disappeared as the king himself became recluse. As the kingdom fell, the remaining citizens began to rebel against the king, only to either die by infection, seclusion, or by their own hands. The prisoner encounters and fights several entities as they travel across the island. The Concierge, who was once the prison guard's Castain, before his infection and subsequent transformation into a hulking monster. Conjunctivius, a nameless, faceless, bloated corpse that was transformed into a grotesque tentacle beholder-like monster. And the Timekeeper, a woman with some mastery over time, who continuously reset time each day to prevent her own infection. They also encountered the Collector, a hooded figure who trades items to the prisoner in exchange for cells, which drop from defeated enemies and are implied to be a sort of essence of life. And the Blacksmith and his apprentices, who upgrade the prisoner's weapons and arsenal. Eventually, the prisoner reaches the castle throne room and faces off against the hand of the king. While the king sits seamlessly comatose upon his throne, the prisoner defeats the hand of the king, takes his weapon and uses it to kill the king. The king's body violently explodes, destroying the prisoner's host body and resetting the game, though giving the prisoner the ability to act outside a host body. As the prisoner's head returns to the quarters to find a new corpse to possess, it remarks how, even though the king has died, nothing has changed. Somewhat of a nonsense ending for you? The Rise of the Giant DLC adds additional content, including new endings. The prisoner gains access to a new area of the island, the cavern, which now houses the titanic undead skeletal giant, who acts as a new boss for the area. The giant, upon defeating it, reveals that the prisoner is actually the king himself, his soul split from his body by consequence of his and the alchemist's experiments. As the prisoner continues, the Timekeeper begins actively altering the timeline to prevent her own death. After defeating the hand of the king, who was once more alive though the king's body is still destroyed. If the player has all 5 boss cells, modifiers which make the game substantially more difficult, earned by beating the game on each level. Active, they are able to gain access to the astrolabe and the observatory. There, the prisoner can find the Collector, who is implied to be the king's alchemist. The Collector reveals that he has been collecting cells to create a panacea, to cure the malaise once and for all. The Collector, however, upon drinking the panacea, goes mad with power and attempts to kill the prisoner to reset the game so they can bring him more cells. While fighting the Collector, the prisoner drinks some of the panacea, which, upon the Collector's death, causes the prisoner's host body to evaporate, allowing them to reset the game again. This time, however, the Timekeeper fully resets the timeline. This allows the prisoner, upon reaching the throne room and defeating the hand of the king, to possess the king, getting his original body back. However, the body is infected with the malaise, and so to prevent his own decay, he continues to the observatory to face the Collector again. This time, upon the Collector's defeat, the panacea cures the king and binds his body and soul once more. The king returns to his throne room, where he remarks over a glass of wine that he was honestly having more fun crawling around the sewers when, due to the Timekeeper's meddling, a time-displaced prisoner arrives in the throne room. The king and the prisoner face off and the duel begins once again. Well viewers, that is what Dead Cells is all about. I did play this game, and as a single player it is very entertaining, very challenging. Each time you get a new weapon on a new run, you gotta change your strategy in order to make it to the end. There's still about 20 minutes of gameplay left, so I hope you guys just sit back, relax, watch the end of the video, and hopefully it will encourage you to try this game. Pixel style games were one of my favorites in the past. I've not played this sort of game in a long while, but it is the sort of game that I actually grew up playing. And where technology has taken us already, it's wonderful that developers have allowed us the opportunity to play these sort of games on our phones. Anywhere, anytime, as we choose. Viewers, I'm now going to stop with the sentimental procrastination. there still is about 20 minutes of my uninterrupted gameplay. I hope you guys watch the video to the end and you decide whether you'd like to make this the next game that you play. As always, it is a pleasure bringing you guys these videos. Please do like, subscribe, share, follow, and leave a positive comment at the end. Supporting my channel in this way will allow my channel to grow and allow me to bring you more of these sort of videos. As promised, some uninterrupted gameplay and greetings at the end. Guys, we are coming to the end of this video. I hope you guys did enjoy watching my video. Please do like, subscribe, share, follow, and I will see you guys in the next one. Leo, signing out for now. Take care and bye-bye.